Welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel, everyone. This is Rich, making another video on XRP today as usual. So wherever you are in this vast planet, I hope you're all having a nice day today. I have to start with this from David Schwartz before we discuss XRP. This post, however, dates back to approximately 2017. The fact that payments are becoming faster makes us very happy. As a settlement asset, XRP has been the focus of our strategy. It is more crucial that settlement be quick and inexpensive the faster payments are made. Our primary motivation for creating RippleNet Next Current was the delayed payments, which made quick, inexpensive settlement less important. It's fantastic if Swift wishes to arrange payments for us. We have one less task to complete. David Schwartz made that statement at the time because he believed that if you want settlement to occur quickly, the entire process must be expedited, and Swift isn't. Let's be honest. Ripple is messaging and settling because of this. Additionally, there will be a lag time with ISO. Listen to this out. Relocating doesn't mean that the voyage is over, that the process is over. Migration is where the journey begins. Therefore, when we migrate from migration programs to BAU, we must now anticipate a period of transition. But it takes time for that to happen. Thus, I don't believe the industry will reach a point when everyone migrates and then suddenly becomes a B. As the standard develops, as mistakes are fixed, and as everyone begins to use it, there must be a transitional phase during which we begin to recognize some of the ways in which we have made mistakes. For Australia, that is. She is essentially warning us that mistakes will occur and that they will need to be fixed, and that might produce a delay. Now that they are trying things out, I believe they will quickly correct the problems. We are aware that it is already taking place with XRP on the private ledger. Numerous other tests are undoubtedly ongoing as well. However, even if that occurs, I continue to believe that the price of these ISO cryptocurrencies will begin to fluctuate on the first day. They comply with ISO 222, even if I detest calling them ISO currency. This information is taken straight from the ISO22.org website. Do any cryptocurrencies meet ISO compliance standards? The ISO does not automatically apply to cryptocurrencies. Regarding ISO compliant cryptocurrencies, there's a great deal of misunderstanding and false information available online. However, those claims are untrue. ISO does not oversee or register the cryptocurrency. A uniform language and framework for communicating financial information are provided by ISO, a global standard for financial messaging. ISO 24165 is the ISO standard for maintaining digital token identification. Cryptocurrencies often function outside of the conventional financial system and do not by default follow the ISO standard, even though financial institutions and payment systems have accepted or are in the process of adopting them for their operations. Each cryptocurrency has its own message formats and protocols that are unique to its blockchain network. ISO is merely messaging, and Brad Garlinghouse has already informed us that XRP may be used for cross-border money transfers. If you so desired, you could also settle in XRP. Including that in the ISO message is all that matters. Is it possible to include cryptocurrency information in ISO messages? Indeed. Although they are not currently validated, cryptocurrencies can be sent as data content in ISO communications. The messages use fiat currencies such as USD, EA, and others and are verified in accordance with ISO 4217. Future iterations of ISO 222 messages will incorporate cryptocurrency validation. That's it. They are claiming that you may use cryptocurrencies in the same manner as you would the US dollar or the euro. Is it possible for a blockchain corporation to comply with ISO? Yes, it is important to keep in mind that certain payment processors and cryptocurrency exchanges may use ISO compliance for their internal procedures or dealings with conventional financial systems to promote compatibility and interoperability with the current financial infrastructure, including banks and payment network. However, blockchains themselves are not intrinsically compliant at the protocol level. Thus, consider it this way. What does Ripple want to accomplish? They are attempting to integrate cryptocurrency with the conventional banking system. They comply because of this. Ripple underwent the ISO compliance process for this reason. I hope that clarifies all of the ISO-related queries. Some individuals still believe that XRP is useless because it won't be used domestically if it isn't used for cross-border payments. Listen to David Schwartz. By clicking this link, the issue of payments is worth trillions of dollars. Additionally, it appears that cryptocurrency is ideally suited to improve payments. In particular, we sort of concentrated on cross-border international transfers because they are the worst, not because domestic payments are excellent. Anyone who has ever made an international payment, including you, has likely heard horror stories. Therefore, you need to be less fantastic to get better if you start with something terrible. Although we won't be there right away, I believe that we can someday become incredible and possibly take over the payments industry. Therefore, why are we worrying if we are unable to overcome the most difficult aspect of the issue? That was, in a sense, the initial focus. I believe that this kind of focus that we really need to address payments like payment matured between 2011 and 2014. If you consider an NFT as an alternative use case, you may think, I want to buy it, I want to sell it. While I wish to repay the debt, consider taking out a loan. Additionally, I want to be paid the whole amount I borrowed because all of these other use cases need high payments. Thus, we simply narrowed our focus, and that was the beginning of it. In 2014, Ripple had already achieved cross-border payments. You don't begin with domestic payments, David added. They're simple. You start with cross-border payments. Domestic payments are going to happen on their own. What about transactions that take place offline? Smoke is the source of this. Therefore, offline is an essential characteristic for any digital currency issued by a retail central bank. The Ripple CBDC platform has improved capabilities, including offline transactions and non-smartphone use, and is utilizing a new private ledger with XRP ledger technology, Wallace went on, so that XRP can be used offline. The internet is not necessary, but electricity is still required. And I wanted to emphasize that since many people keep saying that these transactions cannot take place unless you have access to the internet, that's it. Making payments with XRP doesn't require an internet connection. What is at risk for Bitcoin if the Fed prints more money? Generally speaking, cryptocurrency benefits when the Fed produces money. Over the years, we have witnessed that. Do you recall those memes where the money printer is seen going? Now that we're seeing Bitcoin follow the stock market even more